Hello and welcome into another edition of the Final Drive here on DMVSTREAM.COM. I'm Jeremy Huber here with you, wrapping up another big week of high school football in the district, Maryland and Virginia. A lot of playoff action tonight, a lot of local winners tonight as well. We'll get into them all. Of course, lots to get you up to date on. We'll have scores from Maryland and Virginia. We'll go ahead and let you know that all the top seeds are the higher seeds in Maryland except one tonight. We'll get you up to date on who that team was, not who didn't win. Of course, one of the teams that was a higher seed that did win, the Glenelg Gladiators. Big win for them tonight as they knock off River Hill 38-7. We're lucky enough to be joined by the head coach of Glenelg, Butch Schaefer. Coach Schaefer, first off, congratulations on the big win tonight.
Hey, thank you very much.
And, Coach, got to start off again. Obviously, you guys were the 2 seed. You see the top seed go down last week. So you guys had the position to get the home game. I don't know if it would have mattered that much, but obviously it had to help. And the way your team came out against River Hill tonight, they had to be comfortable in the position they were in, correct?
Yeah, we were really excited to be, have the opportunity to play at home for the seniors to get one more chance to, be on their home field. And we took advantage of it and played extremely well.
That they did, and you guys really jumped on River Hill early. Obviously you guys are from the same county, you know each other, but did you expect it to kind of get out to that big spread as early as it did?
We were hoping to get a fast start. River Hill's a tremendous football team, and, it's a great rivalry between the two schools. And we knew we had to start quick and get the momentum on our side. And our kids played extremely well on both sides of the ball.
They did, and of course your offense came to play. And again, you've got the guy in the backfield in Wandy Owens. How'd you assess his performance tonight?
He had a great game. He had over 200 yards again, and our offensive line really paved the way for him, and it was a great team effort.
Talking to Butch Schaefer, head coach of the Glenelg Gladiators, his team with a big win tonight over rival River Hill. Coach, tell me a bit about that defense. Anytime you can hold a team down to that type of scoring output, you got to be proud of what your team was able to do.
Real proud of Coach Cullen and the staff for getting a tremendous game plan together to shut down a lot of stuff that they do. Our kids, flew around to the football, tackled well, and made some big plays when we need big plays.
Yeah, of course, we talked about Owens had 3 touchdowns on the night, the defense holding them down. Obviously, Coach, you look at what the output has been for your program. It's your second region title in the last 3 years. How proud of you of your program that's been able to go ahead and produce that type of output?
It's a tremendous compliment to, the hard work our kids put in, all year round. And the kids, I have a great group of kids that play extremely hard each and every week, and I couldn't be prouder for them or the community.
Coach, you guys were the ones able to knock off Howard this year and end their county winning streak, and we know how big of a deal that is for you guys. They're, the 4A school in the county. You guys are a big school in your own right, but not as big as they are. Did that give your guys any bump, do you think, of confidence saying, look, we could beat these guys. Anybody we see, we can knock them off?
It's definitely a big confidence boost. Knowing you play with one of the top 10 teams in the state, and you played snap for snap for them, it's definitely a boost. And our kids have continue to get better each and every week, and we're looking forward to next week.
And it's interesting, Coach. You're one of the few coaches in Maryland right now that don't know exactly your fate, because there's still games left to play. Obviously, Oxon Hill and Potomac, they go tomorrow. Same thing for Franklin and Milford Mill. I know most people would say, well, it's 1 day's difference. Is it that big of a deal? What are the positives and what are the negatives of having to wait that extra day maybe before you can really start your preparations?
I don't really see it as too many negatives. Hey, we're going to enjoy tonight. We're going to let our kids enjoy tonight, and then we're going to find out tomorrow who we play, and then we're going to make our preparations and try to prepare the best we can for whoever we end up playing.
Now, Coach, in a situation like that, do you send half the staff to one game and half the staff to another tomorrow?
We'll definitely be sending half the staff to both of them for sure, so we have the information that we need to convey to our kids. That's for sure.
And it's funny. I asked Coach Strunk about this, and he definitely had an interesting answer. But Coach, you guys are in that interesting situation where you play all your games in the county. Obviously, from you guys both winning regional championships, it shows just how good Howard County football is. But are you proud of your guys in the sense that once you get outside of the region, really haven't got a chance to play those teams, at least not in the regular season, the fact your team adjusted so well to maybe seeing some other teams?
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of fun playing other teams and other places and those kind of things. And we play some really good football in Howard County, and like I said, we're looking forward to, next week. Our kids are excited. I mean, we're excited for another week. We're looking forward to, playing extremely well.
Yeah, and I'm sure they're getting maybe looking forward to getting on a bus somewhere to go see who they're going to get. But I tell you, Coach, I'm sure your guys are very happy to be moving on no matter who they get in their next matchup. Coach Butch Schaefer, congratulations. Big win tonight over River Hill to move on and win another 3A East region title. Thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Hey, you're very welcome, and thanks for having us.
No problem at all. Butch Schaefer, head coach of the Glenelg Gladiators, his team with a resounding 38-7 win tonight as they knock off River Hill. And again, a very good Glenelg team and it shows just, Howard County football kind of folks sometimes talk about, say, they don't play outside the county. How good can they be? Well, two regional champions coming out of that. And again, you talk about, county pride. Obviously, they and Howard representing Howard County very well in tonight's action. Well, coming up on the show, we're going to have a good group of guests for you tonight. We will be joined, as I alluded to while talking to Coach Schaefer, by the head coach of the Howard Lions. That'd be one Bruce Strunk, as his team got a big win tonight, winning the region championship in their own right, as Howard able to knock off Mervo by a 42-6 score. Also tonight, we'll be joined by a couple of coaches from Loudoun County. We'll hear from the head coach of the Potomac Falls Panthers, Paul Barnes. His squad with a dominant win over Albemarle tonight in the 5A playoffs. And down in the 4A playoffs, it was Dominion's coach Carl Buckwalter. We'll chat with him as well. Coach Buckwalter's team with a nice win tonight as the Titans able to knock off Amherst in that 4A West, where it's kind of everybody from up in Northern Virginia all the way down into Southern Virginia, kind of a wide varying array of teams, but they are both able to go ahead and get wins tonight. Let's go ahead and run down some scores for you. Let's start with action tonight. We did see in the VISA, that's the Virginia Independent Schools, we saw a somewhat local team as Quantico was in the Division III final. They fell, though, as the top seed fell to Roanoke Catholic tonight, 38-21. Roanoke Catholic winning their second Division III title in the last 3 years. Over in Maryland, it was in 4A West. Number 1 seed Quince Orchard beat number 2 seed Richard Montgomery 49-23. So the Cougars move on. The number 1 seed Wise moves on as well in 4A South as they beat Eleanor Roosevelt 40-22. Wise really kind of ran out to a big lead in this one. Eleanor Roosevelt scored a few touchdowns late, but the Pumas dominant as ever in that contest. Second-seeded Howard in 4A North beat 4th-seeded Mervo 42-6. It's the third straight region title for the Lions. Mervo, of course, knocked off last week top seed Sherwood. A lot of people were expecting that kind of local matchup between Sherwood and Howard. Lions don't get it, but they get the regional titles. They beat Mervo tonight by that 42-6 score. In 4A East, the amazing run of Annapolis continues as the Panthers with a 48-34 win over number 4 seed Broadneck to take 4A East. Remember, Old Mill, the top seed, got knocked off by Broadneck. Want to issue a quick apology. Of course, I think we gave that score out last week as Old Mill winning close. No, it was Broadneck upsetting Old Mill for the second straight year as they beat the Patriots. But Annapolis, in a game that Annapolis jumped out to a pretty nice lead, and then Broadneck reeled them back in, made it a touchdown game. But Cameron Hugh, again, with a huge game for the Panthers as they're able to go ahead and get the win. Really a special season for Annapolis. They make the playoffs last year. Now they win a region, and they'll be looking for more as they move forward. And remember, the state championship games this year not played in Baltimore. They'll be played in Annapolis. So the Panthers' hometown will be played at the Naval Academy. So we will see if they're able to get to that game. It'll be tough as they'll have to go through either Quince Orchard or Wise to get there. But if they do, a little bit of home field advantage over in Annapolis. 3A West, number 1 seed Damascus with a nice win tonight. The Swarming Hornets actually tied with second seed Oakdale 21-21, and they explode in the second half for 21 unanswered points, 464 rushing yards as Damascus wins 42-21 for their third straight region title. In 3A East, you just heard from Butch Schaefer, his team with a 38-7 win over 4 seed River Hill. So the Gladiators move on. Of course, 2 more teams to be determined in 3A South final tomorrow at 1. Will pit number 1 seed Oxon Hill as they host number 2 seed Potomac. 3A North, it's number 2 seed Franklin traveling to number 1 seed Milford Mill. Again, both those games are 1 o'clock starts. Over in 2A West, Walkersville went over number 3 seed Middletown 20-7. The only real local teams in 2A still remaining. Number 1 seed Patuxent fell to number 2 seed Calvert. So the question we kind of threw out there earlier, Calvert was your one team of the locals to kind of pull the upset as they beat rival Patuxent 24-21. Of course, Patuxent, the defending state champion in 2A. Calvert will look to make their stand for that one as they move forward. 2A North, it was Dunbar, the 3 seed, with a big resounding upset of Hereford, 60-14. No scoring yet for the other 2A East matchup between Elkton and North Carolina. 1A, really the only team of note, number 2 seed Surrattsville gave top seed number 1 Havre de Grace a game, but fell in the 1A North Championship 19-14. So Surrattsville out there. Let's run down some scores as well from over in Virginia. Let's start off with your locals in 6A North. 1 seed Lake Braddock. Remember last week they went down early to Robinson. We're trailing 14-0. They haven't been scored on since as the Bruins with a resounding 42-0 win over 8 seed Hayfield tonight. Elsewhere it was 2 seed James Madison, a nip and tuck battle, but they edged 7 seed West Potomac 21-14. Elsewhere, it was number 3 seed Westfield with a dominant performance, at least defensively, shutting down South County's potent offense as the Bulldogs beat the Stallions 20-3 in a 3-6 matchup. Elsewhere, South Lakes with a late rally as they beat 5 seed Centerville 22-20 in that contest. South Lakes was behind, came back, took the lead, then Centerville scored what could have been the game-tying touchdown, but South Lakes picked off a pass on a 2-point conversion attempt with under 2 minutes to go ahead and seal the win. So the top 4 teams, we talked about it before. We thought we were going to get a topsy-turvy playoffs considering what we had during the regular season. It's been anything but so far as the Seahawks able to hold on as they beat Centerville. They and James Madison both challenged tonight, but the top 4 seeds still in it in 6A North. 5A North tonight, top-seeded Massaponax a winner over Patrick Henry of Ashland, the 8 seed, 40-10. Now, the one game kind of note there was a 2 seed Brook Point. Went to overtime against 10 seed North Stafford, but Brook Point able to win in double OT 41-34. Importance of that one, if Brook Point would have lost, 3 seed Stonebridge would have been at home next week. Instead, the Bulldogs will travel to Brook Point, though it may be a tired Brook Point team after that double overtime game. The Bulldogs win the postseason Battle of the Burn, knocking off 6 seed Broad Run tonight 28-7. Number 4 seed Potomac Falls, also of Loudoun County. They were a winner tonight over 5 seed Albemarle 22-0. The Panthers moving on, I believe their deepest penetration into the playoffs ever, I believe, in their history, as the Panthers get the win. So they'll be traveling to Massaponax next week, while Stonebridge will travel to Brook Point. 4A West also involving the local teams. It was number 1 seed Woodgrove looking dominant again tonight as they beat 8 seed Charlottesville 57-8. Elsewhere, it was number 2 seed William Byrd with a big performance as they beat Heritage of Loudoun County 55-21. Of course, Heritage pulled the upset last week against GW Danville. Could not do it tonight as they fall and their season ends. Elsewhere, it was 3 seed Salem over Millbrook 59-14. Of course, Millbrook beat Loudoun Valley last week. And 4 seed Dominion, after being tied in their contest with Amherst, they explode as well. Big night for Vashon McCants as they beat Amherst 42-21. The Titans move on as well. They will end up facing Woodgrove next week. That other battle in 4A will be William Byrd taking on Salem, so kind of a north-south guaranteed championship game in that conference. Elsewhere, 3A East, your only real other local team playing tonight, that was 3 seed Brentsville, and in the Conference 26 and 28 portion of things, the Tigers with a win as they beat 2nd seed James Monroe 31-24. Brentsville moves on. They will face top seed Hopewell next week as Hopewell beat Petersburg by a score of 14-8. That's your look at your scoreboard. We'll get you some more scores as we move along through the night, get you back up to date on those, but lots of interviews coming up. Coming up next, we will hear from the head coach of the Potomac Falls Panthers, Paul Barnes, talk about his team's big win over Amherst tonight. His big win over Albemarle tonight. We'll do that next, coming up on the final drive. Remember, if you want to tweet us, go ahead and do it at DMVStream. Hashtag it with the final drive. Again, that's DMVStream. Hashtag it with the final drive. We'll be back after this. Looking for some of the best barbecue in the area? Well, then come on down to Monk's. Monk's Barbecue has all your favorites. Delicious pulled pork, tender, moist brisket, and dry rubbed ribs that just fall off the bone, as well as specialty items like pulled chicken, pastrami, and Kansas City burnt ends. Add in delicious sides like Monk's Special Baked Beans, smoked Gouda mac and cheese, vinegar coleslaw, and many more, and you can't get any better. That's Monk's Barbecue in the heart of Loudoun County, online at monksq.com. That's monks and the letter Q.com. And go to their Facebook page to find out more about their live music and drinks.
DMVSTREAM.com produces live broadcasts for professional, semi-pro, and amateur sporting events, as well as colleges, universities, high schools, AAU, and youth tournaments in the Mid-Atlantic. With a client list that includes ESPN, The Washington Post, Monumental Sports Network, CBS.com, USAFootball.com, USLacrosse.org, NCAA.com, the National Federation of High School Sports, and Georgetown University, among others. Synthesis Multimedia has emerged as the Mid-Atlantic's top provider of sports multimedia. Contact us today to learn more about streaming your events live.
Are you a fan of high school sports? Does high school sports attract the type of customers you want for your business? If so, then consider advertising here on The Final Drive. The Final Drive on DMVStream.com is a weekly show dedicated to high school football in the District, Maryland, and Virginia. We update scores and talk to the movers and shakers from Friday night's top games, and we preview the big matchups from Saturday's action. So consider being a part of The Final Drive. For more information about advertising on The Final Drive, contact Jeremy Huber at jrh0001@gmail.com. That's jrh0001@gmail.com.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to an all-new season of Top Plays here at OleMetSports.com and WashingtonPost.com. I'm your host, BJ Kubarulis. Now, as we've done the past 4 seasons, we're continuing our exciting interactive high school football show that allows you, the coaches, players, parents, and fans, and others, to send in your video submissions for ranking in our Top 10 style weekly show. If you want to see your highlight in this show, well, it's as simple as tweeting your boy. I'm at BJ Koob. You got to remember to hashtag it, Ole Mets. All right, you can tweet in your Huddle, YouTube, Vimeo, really any video link by Sundays at noon, and we'll consider it for use in the upcoming episode of Top Plays. Now, you got to remember to tune in on Mondays to see if your video made our Top 10 at OleMetSports.com. We'll see you soon.
That's the big boss there, BJ Kubarulis. I'm Jeremy Huber, and this is The Final Drive on DMVStream.com. Coming up on the show, we'll hear from the head coach of the Dominion Titans, Carl Buckwalter. Also, we will hear from the head coach of the Howard Lions, Bruce Strunk, after their big playoff wins tonight. But We're going to go ahead and hear from another coach who had a big night. That was Paul Barnes, head coach of the Potomac Falls Panthers. His team with a nice victory tonight as they were able to knock off Albemarle by a score of 22-0. The Panthers, again, getting deep into the playoffs. I believe the deepest they've ever been in the playoffs so far. They'll have a matchup in the regional semifinal next week. Of course, though, it had a chance to catch up with Coach Barnes after his big win tonight as his Panthers knocked off Albemarle. Well, Coach Barnes, your Panthers' great season continued tonight with a 22-0 win over Albemarle. Got to start off and looking back at some of the game stories that they, I believe, went for it deep in their own territory early in the game. Your guys shut them down. One, was that correct? And number two, was that a big momentum swing for your team?
Yeah, it was. They went for it. But in these type of games, you'd sometimes take calculated chances, and they did it. But give credit to our defense. We had a great defensive game plan. Coach Kazi, Coach Jackson, Sorensen, and Coach Oswald. They combined for a great defensive game plan, and we really took it to them. And so being the offensive coach, it made it easier calling the plays.
I bet it did. Who are some guys that stood out for you on that side of the ball? On defense,
well, I think Grant Mish, Miles, Grant Griffin, Dean Ferguson, the whole D line did a good job. We really controlled it. Alex Niemer in the secondary did well. Masiosi, are one of our DBs. He played well. I mean, we were running the football, tackling. We got turnovers, and we really played well defensively, I thought.
That you did. Anytime you can shut a team out like that, you're got to be playing some good defense. But your offense, especially your running game, seemed like it got it going early. Cash Jackson found the end zone. A couple other guys as well. Talk about that side of the ball's performance.
Well, I think it started with our O-line. They came out and they really got off on the football. And Cash is a hard runner, and it starts with him, and then everything revolves around Cash. And then Rocky, or one of our other backs, got it going, and then Clement, the other back, got it going. So you really couldn't key on just one guy. And then, people forget that we have Kayvon out there, and they were doubling him most of the night, and that gets a little frustrated on his part because they're taking him away. But it's taking two people, and it's opening other things, and it just showed that even though Kayvon doesn't make a big play, we still can win the game.
Yeah, and you guys were able to go ahead and get that done today. Of course, talking about your standout receiver. Coach, in this year, it's interesting. I started my career out there in Loudoun County in broadcasting. I still live out here, and it's always been Potomac Falls basketball school, not really a football school. It seems like this year you've really turned that expectation around, in some of those dog fights against some of the teams you've played. How have you been able to kind of turn that needle a little bit and say, hey, this is a place where we can play some really good football?
Well, the way we do things, we're just a blue-collar team. And I just told the kids, we can't control what anybody else does or says about us. We can just control what we do. And let's just go out and play hard, execute on the offense, defense, and special teams. And let's just give it everything we got, and let's see where we end up after 10 games. And that's what we did. And then and I think the other thing is the way our kids act in school. Our kids are very mature in school. They stay out of trouble. They're very respectful. So the kids, the students at Potomac Falls are buying into the football program. They want to be a part of the football program. They want to come to the games. The teachers too. Teachers have come to me and go, man, they're really nice kids. And that builds pride among the school. And our administration's great. They support us. And I just think overall they're starting to understand what football means to the school.
Yeah, and of course we know Jeff Hawes over the years, such a great basketball support group there, with the students. But again, football, it's getting that way right now for you guys. A spectacular season that will go ahead and continue. Of course, next time out, Coach, your next game will be against the top seed in Massaponax. Obviously a challenge, but do you feel that because of the district that you play in the Potomac district, where you've got Stonebridge, you got to play Broad Run, all those really quality teams, you feel like your team's prepared to take that challenge on?
Oh, heck yeah. We'll play anybody, anywhere, anytime. That's how we always said. We don't care. We'll just strap it up and we'll go after it. You know, and that's how that's the mentality of us. And you know, we're just going to come ready to play, and I expect our team to come ready to play. It should be a great team. Mass Punks is a great team, okay? But I think we're a good team too. So I just think it's going to be a fun game.
And you've proven that. One last one for you. Paul Barnes, head coach of Potomac Falls, his team with a big win tonight over Albemarle in the 5A playoffs. Coach, you were out at Shenandoah for a while, coaching on the college level. How's that help you coming back down to the high school level? What did you learn in coaching the Hornets that you'd be able to bring to the Panthers?
Well, it just gives you experience. I was experienced as a head coach. So, you know, when things arise, any type of adversity, we have a game plan on how we're going to deal with it, because no season goes unscathed. There's always some ups and downs and rocky roads, and just the pure experience of being a head coach, you know, you learn to deal with it. I think as far as our kids at Potomac Falls, I tell you what, they're a great bunch of young men. I love them to death. You know, if you spend a minute around one of our kids, you'll see what I mean. And all through the experiences that I had in college, it just trickles down to the high school, and the basic function is just be a molder of men, and that's what we are as coaches, molder of men.
Well, you've molded your men very well, and you molded them to a pretty good football team that's in the Final Four of their half of the regional bracket. Paul Barnes, head coach of Potomac Falls, congratulations on your big win over Albemarle tonight, and good luck the rest of the way.
Well, thank you, Rich, very much for having me on. It's a great show.
And from one winning coach to another, we're now joined by the head coach of the Annapolis Panthers, Nick Good-Malloy. Of course, the Panthers, his alma mater, and they do everyone proud in Annapolis tonight with a big win over Broadneck to win the 4A East title. Coach Good-Malloy, congratulations, and thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you.
Coach, obviously tonight this story can't be told without talking about Cameron Hugh. The numbers are pretty staggering. 28 carries, 264 on the ground, 5 touchdowns, and a sack on defense as well. Talk about your big stud.
That's the first time I heard his stat line, so that's pretty fantastic. He'll be the first to tell you he's an outstanding player, but he's awesome with recognizing how hard his O-line plays, and those guys up front really did an excellent job tonight against Broadneck, who's known for having an outstanding defense. So the O-line was tremendous, and then Cameron, you know, he did what he does, and he's a beast.
Does having a guy on the team like that maybe raise the level of the rest of the guys, not only by, you know, he's obviously setting a good example, but just sometimes that aura of having a guy like that around you makes you feel like you can do some special things. Do you feel sometimes that's the way it goes with your team?
It's funny that you say that. I haven't really thought about it that way, but again, going, I don't like to do this, but going back to my playing days, we played with some outstanding running backs, Rayvon Johnson, Eric Venable, Aaron Copeland, Kevin Sims, and we, you know, as linemen, we knew if we did what we were supposed to do and we carried out our assignments and got a hat on a hat and blocked who we were supposed to block, that we had some talented backs and that they could go the distance. And this is no different, you know, than it was 16 years ago or 60 years ago at Annapolis. Great O-line play, great backs, and they work amazingly together.
Coach, you guys ended up a little bit of a shootout as you had a big lead, and then Broadneck, as they'll do, obviously they proved it last week against Old Mill. They don't quit. They come back and get back into this game. They got an onside kick to help get themselves back in. What was the feeling on your sideline when they kind of got this thing back to a one-score game?
No different than it ever is for us. We, you talk, you know, and I agree with you that Broadneck, you know, they didn't lay down or give up this week or last week, but I mean, that's how we live. We strive under adversity. We respond like champions when seemingly negative things happen to us. It seems crazy. I get excited when bad stuff happens to us because I know how these kids on our team, how resilient they are and how tough they are. and how determined they are. They have each other's back. They never stop moving forward, and they don't flinch. They're a tough group of kids. So, you know, it was business as usual. Even when bad stuff happens, we stick together.
Coach, you because of the fact of your interesting position where you went to the school, so obviously you kind of know things. I'm going to ask you a housekeeping question. How long has it been since you guys won a regional championship at Annapolis?
I know the answer to that question very well because I played on that team along our offensive coordinator, Mike Melton. He was on the team that year also. So that was 2000. That was the year we went to the state championship.
So it's been a while, and it's funny, Coach. I have a coworker who's telling me that, you know, that her father, you got a neighbor who is your center on the team, and said how that everyone is so into this right now. Do you get that feeling from the folks at Annapolis? And obviously there's some different schools in there, but your Annapolis family down there, how excited people are that this team's really good again?
Oh, I mean, it's very humbling. And very, you know, just an honor to be a part of this program. And like I said, it's humbling that I get all these messages, emails, text messages, people coming up. You know, this is the 96 team in Annapolis High School has fielded, the 96 team in our program's history. So we really make it clear to our kids that there's a lot of players and coaches and fans and students and everybody that's come before them that are really pulling for them and supporting us. And you know, it's a special thing and a special place.
Do you feel like your kids have kind of, I know I played at a school like that where we were the older school in the county. Do you feel like your kids kind of grasp what exactly it is and how it's really cool that a lot of people care about what they're doing?
Yeah, they understand. I tell them all the time that they how important they are and how special they are, and you know, we don't hide that fact that sometimes that a lot of people are watching them and counting on them. Not to put pressure on the guys or anything like that, but it's just to enjoy it and to take pride in that.
Yeah, Nick Good-Malloy, the head coach of the Annapolis Panthers, his team with a 48-34 win over Broadneck tonight to win the 4A East championship. Coach, we've got the brackets. They're kind of set out right now. You guys get Quince Orchard next. Not going to ask you to break down the Cougars. I'm sure you haven't seen as much film as you would like on them, but I'll ask you this. Because of the fact that the state championships are going to be in your backyard at Navy this year, is there a little extra oomph when you kind of come to the kids, say, look, one more win, we get to come back home?
You know, I don't think you need any extra oomph when you're on the doorstep of playing for the state championship. You know, we don't want to knock on that door. We want to kick it down, as Al Larimore said back in the day. We want to kick that door down. And doesn't matter where it's played. We have the mindset, put the ball down and play. We could play at Naval Academy Stadium. We could play on West Street, put the ball down in the middle of the street, and we want to go. And it doesn't really matter. Now, obviously, that being said, is it awesome that it's going to be here in Annapolis? Absolutely. I think it's the rightful place for the state championship and the state capitol, beautiful stadium. So that would be that'll be fantastic. But we got to obviously prepare for a very, very, very outstanding program in Quince Orchard. They've had a lot of success, and you know, we don't know each other too well, so it'll be a lot of fun to compete against such a great program.
Well, Coach, you're going to have a quick detour to Montgomery County, but here's to hoping you get back to Annapolis. Nick Good-Malloy, head coach of the Annapolis Panthers, the 4A East champions, win over Broadneck tonight. Coach, thank you so much for joining us, and congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
And again, Coach Good-Malloy doing such a good job at Annapolis. Again, it was a bit of a downtrodden program. Of course, you know, when he was there, they were a very good team, then hit a lull a little bit in the late 2000s, weren't that good of a team, but boy, are they doing some good things right now with a big win tonight. They'll move on to face off with Quince Orchard. Howard will get Wise in a rematch of the state championship game, but really 4 interesting and fun programs, got all kinds of different pedigrees when they come in into play in the state semifinals next week, but should be an interesting one. And of course, the other interesting thing with all that being said is the fact that there's a possibility if Navy makes and hosts the American Athletic Conference Championship game, all these games get moved back a week. So you could see an extra week of preparation for those championship games, which, could be a good thing, could be a bad thing. You just don't know. But it will be interesting to see exactly how it all shakes out. We got a lot more show to go. Remember, we will hear from the head coach of the Dominion Titans, Carl Buckwalter. Also, we'll check in with the head coach of the Howard Lions, Bruce Strunk. Both those teams winning playoff games tonight. We will check in with them coming up in just a moment. Remember, you want to check in with us, do it via Twitter at DMVStream, hashtag it with the final drive. Again, that's DMVStream, hashtag it with the final drive. We'll be right back after this.
Looking for some of the best barbecue in the area? Well, then come on down to Monk's. Monk's Barbecue has all your favorites. Delicious pulled pork, tender, moist brisket, and dry rubbed ribs that just fall off the bone, as well as specialty items like pulled chicken, pastrami, and Kansas City burnt ends. Add in delicious sides like Monk's special baked beans, smoked Gouda mac and cheese, vinegar coleslaw, and many more, and you can't get any better. That's Monk's Barbecue in the heart of Loudoun County, online at monksq.com. That's monks and the letter Q.com. And go to their Facebook page to find out more about their live music and drinks. DMVSTREAM.com produces live broadcasts for professional, semi-pro, and amateur sporting events, as well as colleges, universities, high schools, AAU, and youth tournaments in the Mid-Atlantic. With a client list that includes ESPN, The Washington Post, Monumental Sports Network, CBS.com, USAFootball.com, USLacrosse.org, NCAA.com, the National Federation of High School Sports, and Georgetown University, among others. Synthesis Multimedia has emerged as the Mid-Atlantic's top provider of sports multimedia. Contact us today to learn more about streaming your events live.
Are you a fan of high school sports? Does high school sports attract the type of customers you want for your business? If so, then consider advertising here on The Final Drive. The Final Drive on DMVStream.com is a weekly show dedicated to high school football in the District, Maryland, and Virginia. We update scores and talk to the movers and shakers from Friday night's top games, and we preview the big matchups from Saturday's action. So consider being a part of The Final Drive. For more information about advertising on The Final Drive, contact Jeremy Huber at jrh0001@gmail.com. That's jrh0001@gmail.com.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to an all-new season of Top Plays here at allmetsports.com and WashingtonPost.com. I'm your host, BJ Kubarulis. Now, as we've done the past 4 seasons, we're continuing our exciting interactive high school football show that allows you, the coaches, players, parents, and fans, and others, to send in your video submissions for ranking in our Top 10 style weekly show. If you want to see your highlight in this show, well, it's as simple as tweeting your boy. I'm at BJ Koob. You got to remember to hashtag it, All Mets. All right, you can tweet in your Huddle, YouTube, Vimeo, really any video link by Sundays at noon, and we'll consider it for use in the upcoming episode of Top Plays. Now, you got to remember to tune in on Mondays to see if your video made our Top 10 at allmetsports.com. We'll see you soon.
And welcome back into the Final Drive here on DMVStream.com. I'm your host, Jeremy Huber, getting you up to date on everything that went on tonight in high school football in the DMV. Of course, a quick look at your Maryland scores tonight. It was Quince Orchard over Richard Montgomery, 49-23 in 4A West. Number 1 seed Wise over Eleanor Roosevelt, 40-22 in 4A South. Number 2 Howard beat number 4 Mervo, 42-6 in 4A North, and it was number 2 Annapolis over number 4 Broadneck, 48-34 in 4A East. It'll be Annapolis going to Quince Orchard next week, while Howard travels to Wise. 3A West, number 1 seed Damascus, a winner over Oakdale, 42-21. Potomac, Oxon Hill in 3A South tomorrow. Same in 3A North for Franklin and Milford Mill. Number 2 seed Glenelg, they beat River Hill tonight in 3A East, 38-7. So basically, it sets up like this. If the only way that Glenelg won't go to play Damascus is if Potomac were to knock off Oxon Hill tomorrow afternoon. So basically, Glenelg, don't know who they're rooting for, but they're likely going to end up going off to face off with Damascus. Elsewhere, 2A West, your one local school there, number 2 seed Calvert pulling the upset on number 1 seed Patuxent. So right now that kind of leaves it as so. Right now, Calvert actually the 2nd seed, so they're going to host next week. They will get Elkton, while Dunbar of Baltimore will go to Walkersville, the top seed. So should be interesting there. Calvert will have a chance to win a home game to move on in the state playoffs. Also, it'll be also tonight, the only other local team in Maryland playing, it was 2 seed Surrattsville falling to number 1 seed Havre de Grace, 19-14 in 1A North. Well, let's go ahead and continue our good slate of folks that joined us on the show tonight. Earlier on, I had a chance to catch up with one of the teams you just mentioned. Head coach of the Howard Lions, Bruce Strunk, talked about his team's big win tonight as they beat Mervo in a pretty resounding fashion to move on to the state semifinals. Well, Coach Strunk, your guys did it tonight, a 3rd straight region championship with a 42-6 win over Mervo. First off, congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And, Coach, got to ask you right off the top, I know you got a good team. I know you guys have had a good season. You had the one blip this year where it was kind of you had that long winning streak in county. But did you expect a game like this, a spread like this at a regional championship?
No. My hat's off to Mervo. They're a pretty good football team. They were misfiring tonight, and it seemed like everything we were doing was working. So, I don't think we're 42-6 better than them, but we were tonight.
And it seemed like you kind of got started off. Your young man in the backfield, Dawkins, had a nice start to the game, a couple early touchdowns. Was that able to kind of settle you guys in, him doing what he's been doing lately?
Yeah, Devin's a heck of a player, and he has some really nice runs. Our offensive line did a great job opening those holes for him. And offensively, it was just a team effort. I mean, everybody did their job, and we were very successful.
Yeah, that's an understatement the way you guys kind of put it out there. But it did seem like today that, where it's been a little bit of the Dawkins show lately. Seems like after his early touchdowns, you guys really spread it around. Talk about some of the other guys who really had big games on the offensive end.
Well, we were running the ball very successful. It was opened up a lot of our play action or passing game because they were putting more guys in the box. A quarterback, Robbie Porter, had a great game, distributing the ball around. And then our receivers, Anthony Reed, Dylan Perez, Cameron Hooper, all contributed with some nice catches. So, our offensive staff really put a good game plan together, and it was right on the mark.
Yeah, most definitely. Talking to Bruce Strunk, head coach of the Howard Lions, they win their 3rd straight region championship with a 42-6 win over Mervo. Coach, anytime you hold a team to 6 points, your defense has to be doing some good things by kind of following the game. You guys had a couple big sacks throughout the contest. Talk about that defensive performance.
The defense played great. The defense didn't let them score. They ran a kickoff back for a touchdown. So the defense came to play tonight, and did a great job. But, it was a team effort. Our offense kept their offense off the field, and they could never really get into sync. And like I said, we won big against them. Hats off to Guard Brothers. Guys doing a great job over there, and our young guys came up and played tonight.
Right, they did with a 42-6 victory. Well, Coach, obviously you guys move on, and you face off next week, and you kind of move on. Now, I feel like some of the guys are gone from the last year's team. Malik Anderson, your standout running back, a lot of the guys, but there's still that talent and that know-how to kind of get the job done at this point of the year. Do you feel confident that your guys really aren't going to be at all intimidated by this situation because you've been there before?
Yeah, I think it's an expectation from our guys that they put on themselves, that, they don't want to let the guys who came before them down. So, they take a lot of pride in their playoff run and their season, and which is great because it's at times when we were outmanned this year, they believed in themselves and they believed in the program and each other, and it's kept us winning. So I'm very proud of this group. Very proud.
Yeah, your guys know that. And interestingly, Coach, we'll let you go on this one. We've talked about it before. We've had you on the show many times and, talked about the interesting situation you're in where Howard County, a real good county for football, but you guys are the biggest school there and you don't really have a chance to kind of test yourself outside because you play all your games in Howard County. Do you feel proud that your team kind of was able to again rise to the occasion where they don't get that chance to kind of, hey, let's get a game out here just to kind of get used to some other teams? They kind of fly blind into this tournament a little bit and be able to win 2 games like they did and win them pretty convincingly. You got to be proud of what your team's been able to do in that regard too, correct?
Yeah. I agree with that to a point. Howard County League is a meat grinder, and it's really helped us become battle tested. I mean, we have a lot of good coaches, a lot of good programs in Howard County. For a small county, there's some good football going on, and we don't have a lot of Division I kind of guys, but we have a lot of well coached teams that just they play football. So it'd be great if we could get out there into the to see the rest of the state. We try to scrimmage teams. We try to keep good company in our scrimmages and to really push us early on. But in a perfect world, it'd be great to get out there. But I'm not complaining. We have a tough league and some good coaching right here in Howard County.
Well, I'll tell you, Coach, I'm sure you probably know already, but Glen Elg got a win tonight as well. So you got at least 2 region champs out of Howard County. That's pretty good for any county to be able to go ahead and put that on their resume. So again, you talk about Howard County football. It's some pretty good ball up there for you guys and and Glen Elg as well. So Coach, congratulations on the win tonight. And we know you're going to have a tough one next week, either QO or Y. So congratulations and good luck next week against one of those 2 teams.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Bruce Strunk, head coach of the Howard Lions, his team with a nice win tonight as they're able to move on in the 4A North region, beating Mervo of Baltimore 42-6. Let's go ahead and check in on some Virginia scores of note. Let's start off. We gave you the local scores. Let's give you a couple of the higher seeded teams from down south in Virginia. It was top seed 6A North, course 6A South, split up into separate 2 separate groups of 8 teams instead of a big 16-team mass like 6A North is. Top seed in 6A South conferences 1 and 2. Oscar Smith, after a tough one last week, beats 4-seed Bayside. So, of course, Oscar Smith fell to Westfield in last year's state championship. Oscar Smith stays alive with a win 43-21. Top seed in conferences 3 and 4. Manchester, a winner tonight over Riverbend 37-28. Now to your local 6A North. Top seed Lake Braddock all over Hayfield tonight 42-0. 2-seed James Madison beat West Potomac 21-14. Close one there. 3-seed Westfield shuts down South County 20-3. Elsewhere, it was a 4-seed South Lakes with a close one, but they beat Centerville 22-20. South Lakes came from behind, then picked off a 2-point conversion attempt to win the game and beat the Wildcats. 5A North, it was Massaponax a winner as they beat 8-seed Patrick Henry 40-10. Elsewhere, 2-seed Brook Point a winner over North Stafford in double overtime, 41-34. Number 3-seed Stonebridge a winner over 6-seed Broad Run 28-7. 4-seed Potomac Falls beat Albemarle 22-0. So your matchups next week: Massaponax will host Potomac Falls. Stonebridge travels to Brook Point up in 6A North. Of course, all local teams there. Lake Braddock hosts South Lakes, while Westfield goes to Madison. Elsewhere, 4A West, number 1-seed Woodgrove winner. They beat Charlottesville 57-8. Number 2-seed William Byrd over local Heritage of Loudoun County 55-21. Salem trounced Millbrook 59-14, while 4-seed Dominion beat Amherst 42-21 behind a big game from Vashon McCants. So Dominion travels to Woodgrove next week, while William Byrd hosts Salem. Elsewhere, the other local of note, it was number 3-seed Brent Wentzville beating number 2 seed James Monroe in the 3A East playoffs. The Tigers will move on to face off with top seed Hopewell in the conference 26-28 part of the bracket. They'll move on to face the winners of a bracket that includes top seed Phoebus, who takes on IC Norcom tomorrow. Also Lakeland and Tab on the other side of things. So the Tigers looking to advance after a nice win tonight. We talked about Dominion, their big win tonight to advance as they beat Amherst 42-21. Lucky enough to catch up with the head coach of the Dominion Titans tonight, Carl Buckwalter, talking about his team's big win over Amherst. Well, Coach. Well, Coach Buckwalter, what a moment for your school, Dominion. I'm not sure. I've been around your program, at least in my past life as a broadcaster, for a long time. I know this may have been one of the first home playoff games for you guys. Don't know if it was the first win at home or not. You can fill me in those details, but congratulations. What a win tonight for you guys, 42-21 over Amherst.
Oh, yeah, it's a big win for, the Titans, our community. And it's a first home playoff game in school history, and then second, and then goes with the win, first win in, home playoff win in school history. And our kids are excited, and they came out and played some football. It was real physical game, and our kids they stuck with the plan, and we came out with a W. We made plays when we had to make plays.
Yeah, most definitely you did. You talk about playmakers, you got to talk about your guy under center, Vashawn McCants. Just looking at what he did tonight, made some plays with his feet, made some plays with his arm as well. Last time we talked, you said, look, he's developing as a passer. It seems like really he's kind of playing an all-around game right now, correct?
Oh, yeah. Tonight he threw real well, and, he bided some time on his own, which is what he does. And then he threw a touchdown to George Richardson, and then he also threw late in the game to make it a 3-score game to cover Carlin, and Trevor made a heck of a catch. And then, but our defense, it was 21-21 at half, and our defense came out and we told them at halftime we were going to need at least 4 stops. We ended up getting more than that, and a couple turnovers, an interception, and some better field position. So the kids just buckled down and they stayed the course. So we're proud of them. And now I guess we have a rematch with Woodgrove. We're excited about it.
I'm sure you are. We'll get to that in just a second. But you talked about that defense, and from what I've been able to gather, you guys ended up forcing 2 fumbles inside your own 5-yard line. That's got to be pretty good defense. Who are some of the guys really stood out over there, and how proud of you are that unit to get those turnovers when you needed them?
It's big anytime you get a turnover, but we made some adjustments, and Tommy Chris, you can play end, you can play tackle, and we moved him to end because they were getting our edges a little bit, and then Tommy still helped solidify that. But Billy Walker on the other side, he made a couple key sacks. Big smooth JD Pierre, our inside guy, he plugged the middle, and then Kyle Smith came up, as a backer, and Alex Wirtz as well. So they play as a unit, and running a single wing and all that type of stuff. It's position football, and you got to be disciplined. And they didn't chase; they just we cut the field in half, and they stayed home.
And, Coach, the single wing offense, a lot of folks know that in your county. Stonebridge has run it for years. I know all the football you've coached over the years, it kind of comes and goes. People see it. But how hard was it getting your team ready to face that type of offense? Or did you have a benefit because some of the teams in your area actually have run it before?
Yeah, well, the biggest benefit, I'll tell you, is when my father was with me at McLean in Colonial Ford. And then when Mickey's my buddy, but he came through, and he was like, when he first started, and my dad looked at him and go, "Well, that's great. Well, when I was in high school, that's all we ran, so it's not going to be new to us." So it's new to everybody else, but it ain't new to us. So that's where it pretty much started. And we played Mickey's team when he opened, and I opened Colonial Ford, so we were kind of used to it. And then King George played it, and we went down there, and basically we practiced with no ball. So our kids don't know, they're not trying to find the ball. They're not looking for the ball. We just practice with no ball. They just go to where they're supposed to go. And so it's alignment and assignment. So it works well for us.
In that sense, Coach, is it a little bit like playing an option team?
Yeah, it is, because you got to be disciplined, and you can't chase. I mean, you have to. Your guys are assigned a certain spot, and they got to go to their spot. And we tell them, that's your house, protect your house, and that's just how it is.
Talking to Carl Buckwalter, head coach of the Dominion Titans. Big win for them tonight, 42-21 over Amherst to advance on in the 4A playoffs. Coach, you mentioned it. I didn't have to bring it up. You got Woodgrove coming up. Obviously, they were impressive tonight. They're 10-0 on the season. You played them before. How do you break down that matchup?
Well, obviously, it's a tall task for our Titans. It's a lot of assignment football. I'm in an assignment with them, and Coach Skinner. I've known Coach Skinner for years, way back when he was at Marshall and I was at McLean. Phenomenal job that they do, and basically they're going to try to outflank you, and they do a lot of shifts and some motions, and our kids have to be able to react to that. But on the other side of the ball, we play them when Deshaun was just learning to be a thrower. He's a different person now, so we got some weapons, and they're going to come after us, which is, we understand that, and we're going to go after them. So it's going to be a heck of a ball game.
And one last one for you, Coach, and this may be like way too out there for you, but by looking at scores, you're really the only team that kind of took their punch and stayed with them into the fourth quarter. Does that help your team at all psychologically to say, hey, we can play with these guys?
Sure. I mean, actually, we were ahead and against them, and I get it. They won, and they won, and I get that, all that stuff. But we were ahead of them, and we also, they come back, and then we're going in on the 10-yard line, and we fumble the ball. We would have been ahead again. So, it's going to come down to some turnovers. And again, to me, it always comes down to defense. We got to have our stops. I'm more of a defensive-minded guy, and that's what I've always believed in. That's how I was brought up. And it's going to come down to stops and a few turnovers, and we'll let the chips fall where they may. But we're going to go after them, and they're going to be ready. They're very well coached, and they're not 11-0 for nothing. They got players too.
Yeah, well, you guys have them as well, and I tell you what, this may be the underrated coaching matchup of the week, where folks going to look up and say, "Boy, these guys have been in state championships before. They're going to know what's going on." Carl Buckwalter, head coach of the Dominion Titans, congratulations over your big win tonight, and good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you letting me be on the show.
Coach Carl Buckwalter, head coach of the Dominion Titans. We'll be right back after this to take a look at tomorrow's schedule and get you up to date on everything that happened tonight. We'll do it right after this. You're listening to The Final Drive here on DMVSTREAM.com. Looking for some of the best barbecue in the area? Well, then come on down to Monk's. Monk's Barbecue has all your favorites: delicious pulled pork, tender, moist brisket, and dry rubbed ribs that just fall off the bone, as well as specialty items like pulled chicken, pastrami, and Kansas City burnt ends. Add in delicious sides like Monk's Special Baked Beans, smoked Gouda mac and cheese, vinegar coleslaw, and many more, and you can't get any better. That's Monk's Barbecue in the heart of Loudoun County, online at monksq.com. That's monks and the letter Q.com. And go to their Facebook page to find out more about their live music and drinks.
DMVSTREAM.com produces live broadcasts for professional, semi-pro, and amateur sporting events, as well as colleges, universities, high schools, AAU, and youth tournaments in the Mid-Atlantic. With a client list that includes ESPN, The Washington Post, Monumental Sports Network, CBS.com, USAFootball.com, USLacrosse.org, NCAA.com, the National Federation of High School Sports, and Georgetown University, among others, Synthesis Multimedia has emerged as the Mid-Atlantic's top provider of sports multimedia. Contact us today to learn more about streaming your events live.
Are you a fan of high school sports? Does high school sports attract the type of customers you want for your business? If so, then consider advertising here on The Final Drive. The Final Drive on DMVStream.com is a weekly show dedicated to high school football in the District, Maryland, and Virginia. We update scores and talk to the movers and shakers from Friday night's top games, and we preview the big matchups from Saturday's action. So consider being a part of The Final Drive. For more information about advertising on The Final Drive, contact Jeremy Huber at jrh0001@gmail.com. That's JRH0001 @gmail.com.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to an all-new season of Top Plays here at allmetsports.com and WashingtonPost.com. I'm your host, BJ Kubarulis. Now, as we've done the past 4 seasons, we're continuing our exciting interactive high school football show that allows you, the coaches, players, parents, and fans, and others, to send in your video submissions for ranking in our Top 10 style weekly show. If you want to see your highlight in this show, well, it's as simple as tweeting your boy. I'm at BJ Koob. You got to remember to hashtag it, Ole Mets. All right, you can tweet in your Huddle, YouTube, Vimeo, really any video link by Sundays at noon, and we'll consider it for use in the upcoming episode of Top Plays. Now, you got to remember to tune in on Mondays to see if your video made our Top 10 at allmetsports.com. We'll see you soon.
And welcome back in as we wrap things up on the final drive. Also want to remind you folks that DMV Stream taking your nominations for Players of the Year in your particular county and in the area. Go ahead and shoot them your nominations at DMV Stream. Again, that's at DMV Stream for nominations for Player of the Year in your county and for the entire area. Well, let's go ahead and quickly run down the action tomorrow. Couple games of note, especially in D.C., your DCIA Stripes Division Final, the Gravy Bowl, tomorrow at Dunbar High School, noon start as top seed Bell takes on number 2 seed Theodore Roosevelt. Remember the DCIA Stars Division Finals on Thanksgiving Day at Eastern High School at 11 a.m. That's number 1 H.D. Woodson taking on number 2 Wilson. The DCSA Class A semifinal tomorrow. That'll be at 12 o'clock at Wilson High School as number 1 seed Murray takes on number 2 seed Kip. Remember, winner of that one gets the winner of the Gravy Bowl between Bell and Theodore Roosevelt. They will face off in the Class A final next week. In your WCAC final tomorrow, of course, that's the biggie. It's DeMatha going for 4 in a row. St. John's looking for their first WCAC football title. Have to go all the way back for the Cadets, I believe all the way back to 1989 since their last championship. It's been a while for them. They're looking for the win as they face off tomorrow. 2 o'clock start, University of Maryland, the WCAC final. Also tomorrow in the VISA Division I final, it's 3 seed Benedictine at number 1 seed Collegiate, 1 o'clock start. Of course, not local teams there. Flint Hill was involved in that tournament. They fell to Benedictine last week. The Division III final did involve a local team as number 1 seed Quantico. They fell to number 2 seed Roanoke Catholic 38-21 tonight. One regular season game tomorrow. Friendship Collegiate tuning up before their matchup in the DCSAA Class AA tournament. They will face off with Carroll, and then they'll get if they win that, they'll get the winner of the matchup on the other side of things. The Turkey Bowl winner between H.D. Woodson and Wilson, but Friendship Collegiate trying to stay sharp as they face National Christian tomorrow in a 12 o'clock start. Elsewhere in Maryland tonight, it was top seed Quince Orchard moving on with a win over Richard Montgomery. Number 1 seed Wise in 4A South. They beat Eleanor Roosevelt. In 4A North, number 2 seed Howard over Mervo big, while 4A East, it was number 2 seed Annapolis over Broadneck 48-34. Your matchups next week, Annapolis travels to Quince Orchard. Wise hosts Howard in a 4A championship rematch from last year. 3A West, Damascus, they beat Oakdale tonight. Glenelg beat River Hill in 3A East. 2 matchups tomorrow. 3A South Potomac travels to Oxon Hill. 1 o'clock start there. 3A North Milford Mill hosts Franklin. The key thing to remember there is, barring a win by Potomac over Oxon Hill, Glenelg will go to Damascus. Oxon Hill would host under that scenario, Oxon Hill, if they win, would host Milford Mill or Franklin next week. In 2A in Maryland, number 2 seed Calvert pulls the upset in 2A South, beating top seed Patuxent. They will move on to a matchup where they will host in their contest. I believe they get Elkton, who won tonight. I believe it was Elkton winning tonight in 2A. Yes, it was. So it'll be Elkton going to Calvert. They'll host before they would match up, or if they win, Calvert would move on to a matchup in the state championship game over in Annapolis. Your other winners, Walkersville winner over Middletown tonight, while it was also, again, as we mentioned, Dunbar with a big win over Hereford. Only 1A school locally in Maryland was Surrattsville. They fell to top seed Havre de Grace in 1A South. In Virginia, your locals there, 6A North, your winners, Lake Braddock beat Hayfield, James Madison over West Potomac, Westfield over South County, South Lakes beat Centerville, so South Lakes goes to Lake Braddock next week. Madison hosts Westfield. In 5A North, it's Stonebridge, a winner over Broad Run tonight. Potomac Falls beat Albemarle. Potomac Falls goes to Massaponax. Stonebridge goes to Brook Point. 4A West, Woodgrove big over Charlottesville. William Byrd beat Heritage of Leesburg. Salem big over Millbrook, while Dominion beat Amherst. Dominion goes to Woodgrove, rematch of a regular season game. Salem and William Byrd face off. Other local team in Virginia tonight, it was Brentsville with an upset win over James Monroe. They will take on Hopewell in this. They will finish up in Conference 26 and 28, that part of 3A East, their playoffs there. And that's going to go ahead and do it for the show. It was another really good one. Always seemed to be, especially this time of the year. Got to give thanks to all of the folks who joined us on the show tonight. That pretty lengthy list includes head coach of the Howard Lions, Bruce Strunk, also head coach of the Glenelg Gladiators, Butch Schaefer. Both those guys bringing region championships back to Howard County. Annapolis coach Nick Good-Malloy, his team with a 4A East championship today as they knocked off Broad Neck. Also to Virginia teams, their coaches joined us as they moved on to the playoffs. Paul Barnes of Potomac Falls and Dominion's Carl Buckwalter. Those guys coach pretty much down the street from each other out in Sterling in Loudoun County. That's going to do it for the show tonight. We got a few more coming up the rest of the way. Again, we're planning on taking all the way up to the Virginia State Championships and possibly the Maryland State Championships, depending on what Ken Niumatalolo and Navy decide to do. We'll keep you up to date on that. Stay tuned here to the final drive at DMVSTREAM.com. We'll keep you up to date on everything and all our plans throughout the state playoffs. But again, a great show tonight. Thank you to all of our guests, and thank you for listening. I'm Jeremy Huber, and this has been the final drive on DMVSTREAM.com.